This fool called Rent-A-Center. I have his phone number. There's Alpesh Patel's phone. This fucker called Rent-A-Center in my village. He says he's sending letters and all kinds of shit. And my nephew is just here, right? There you go, Alpesh. There's his phone number right there. The boys up at fucking Rent-A-Center gave me his number. That's Alpesh's phone number right there. He called from that number to Rent-A-Center in my village. Well, there's your admission. He's got all them phone calls, so he sits there, so he makes prank calls and he harasses people on the internet. Shannon, you need to do something about your boy here. That fucker called Rent-A-Center. He thinks he's going to get people in my village against me. Look at this dumb fuck. You guys better do something about this, boy. he's fucked up right now. That's not my phone number. I got all these phone numbers. Oh, gee. So Google, YouTube, if you're watching, all right, this fucker's sitting over there in England and he's calling businesses in my village. That's harassment. This fucker is harassing them through his YouTube channel. And you Americans are supporting him like you, Shallow Shay. So let the war begin. I'm going to go take a shower. The snow is melting. Slowly, but it's melting. JT isn't going to do anything. What is JT going to do? CB, are you still here? I'm out of the shower. I'm going to go finish drying off. All right. You see that right there? See that right there? Alpesh Patel arm looks like that right there. So this fucker's calling here. Alpesh, you need to be forewarned. JC called the cops on me. You want the phone number to the police station? I'll give you that. Call them and tell them what a racist I am, Alpesh. I'll get you to call the cops. That's where you need to call is the Governor PD, boy. I'll be back. I'll give you the phone number. JC has it. Go ask her. She's live. Right there, you fucker. That motherfucker done better. That's it right there. Fuck you. Hey, JC, I think this is the match made in heaven. CB and Alpesh Patel. They kind of Mon Pa Kettle. That's what they remind me of. Yeah, Mon Pa Kettle. That's you there, CB. You want to fucking troll me and your little buddy Alpesh and all the others? This is what you get. I'm gonna go comb my hair. 3 pounds, 14 ounces. Almost 4 pounds of peanut M&Ms. Hey, Alpesh, do you want the phone number to the cop station? I'll give it to you. You need to call them. Those boys at Renaissance are laughing at you. Where do you get an idea to do what you're doing anyway? I'd like to know what you're trying to accomplish. You think you're gonna stop me from doing what I'm doing? My nephew was here and wanted to come up on your panel, but I told him it's useless because you're an idiot. His hunting buddy works at that place, you dumb fucker. And his fishing buddy. You don't even know who the fuck you're talking to. Call it there, fucking ranting and raving about Billy Hayden. Hilarious. I did it again. You're pulling off another JC, Alpesh. You want the phone number to the cop station? That's who you need to call. I'll post it. I don't need to post it. All you got to do is type in Governor PD, Governor New York Police Department, 315-287-2121. Go ahead, call them. One of your phone cards. Go ahead. How very smart of you, Ash. Pesh Patel, you actually think you're going to get me to stop streaming? You want me to leave YouTube? Is that realistic there, fucking skin boy? There, olive oil arms. Very smart, Alpesh. Watched in and go up on EQ's panel the other night. The man hasn't been live in quite a while and advertising, and she's the first one to go up there on his third broadcast and fucking cry about everybody in YouTube. Watched it. You're fucking smart. What I dug out today. You got 3 of these. Um, canned leeks. Hmm. Is it? Well, I gotta get Mark Levin on. But you want an M&M? Fucking 4 pounds of them.
years, Fisher houses have been there for military and veteran, leaving more than 600.
You know how those people you just mentioned, they're mad. They have no standing. They can't touch me. What are they going to do to me? Alpech called Rent a Center. Place of business. What do you think they're going to do? Believe you that I'm a racist? Why is this guy so fucking dumb? Wigan, why'd you support this fucking Alpesh Patel? What the fuck is the matter with you? Seriously. Wow, you're right in the middle of it. I don't even know you. Why are you even in my chat? Huh? Is that what you want to do? Huh? Is that what you want? Okay, I'll give it to you. Say goodbye. Go play, Owls. Angela, you're just someone for him to attack.
Quite slow from Dorch Street to the Wilson. You're from delays through McLean from the toll road headed toward Gallows Road. You will find delays still on 66 westbound headed from the Beltway towards 123 and from the Fairfax County Parkway towards Business 234, and still a slow go on the George Washington Parkway heading northbound between Scott Run and 123. Now from GarageRadio.com, the WMA.
Yeah, Owls, I really don't care what you have to say.
Wake up temperatures tomorrow morning, mid-30s to lower. Partly to mostly cloudy on Tuesday, upper 50s to lower 60s. 7 News meteorologist Steve Roosh with the first alert weather.
Right now, 55 degrees in Lorton, 51 in Burtonville, and 54 degrees here in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on New Talk 105.9 WMAL.
And then speeding wide of the WMAL app. Mark Levine. The fouls of the hidden bunker somewhere under the brick steel of a nondescript building. We once again made contact with it. But then.
Here, number 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. First, congratulations to our buddy Dan Bongino, the FBI Deputy Director. That's a very important post. It's really the hands-on position in many respects, because the director has so many responsibilities above and beyond. And so, as I recall my days in the Department of Justice, that deputy position is ever so important, and I can't think of anybody better. And these reports out there that, the agents are disappointed, they're worried. They're not talking to the agents, the media, talking to 7 of their best friends over there who are obviously leakers and reprobates. I'm sure the agents are happy. I'm sure they're thrilled. that there is new management in Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. In fact, I can't think of any better team than that, than Pam Bondi as Attorney General. These are serious people, very serious people. The experience Bondi has, Patel has, Bongino has is exactly what's needed. No nonsense law and order types. It's amazing, isn't it? The media. Well, the media lie. I mean, how many more examples do we need? How many more years do we have to prove it to ourselves? We don't. And as you know, I've been behind this microphone talking for quite some time now about Joy Reid. I've been wondering how she manages to hang on to a TV show, even though it's on MSNBC, which fewer and fewer people watch, primetime. And I've played clips of her, the horrendous, bigoted things that she has said, in my humble opinion. And I've just been amazed that any company will put her out front like this. A raving lunatic, in my view. And I've said for a long time, they ought to give her the hook. She needs to go. She's very, very dangerous to this country, the things that she says. Well, she got the hook, apparently. She got the hook, and I want you to hear from her own mouth, Hat Tip Town Hall, what she had to say about it. Cut to, go.
My show had value, and that,
excuse me. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It had no value whatsoever. None. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, that that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I would just say is
Karen. That's pretty amazing, isn't it, Mr. Producer? Does she mean Whoopi Goldberg, whose real name is Karen? I have no idea. Go ahead.
That in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black
You didn't go
Lives Matter.
hard. You went insane. You went insane. Things you said, endless references to Hitler, pushing the whole racism and racialism agenda, just constant, among many other things. I can't think of a single profound thing you said, actually. Go ahead.
A young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted, and not just Black folks. That
you mean targeted by Biden at Harvard, who went into the Supreme Court, did the Biden regime? Asian students brought a lawsuit that they were being discriminated against in these two colleges, and Harvard, and the other one I think was North Carolina, but I could be wrong about that. In terms of their applications in the Biden regime, in the Democrat Party and their media, the Supreme Court said, no, that's discrimination. We're absolutely apoplectic. Whose side were you on there, Joy? Go ahead.
For immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life, and defended them.
Now, they didn't just come to the country. People came to the country to make a life and came through legally. There's no issue. And there's a lot of people who do that, and they do it every year. A lot of people. And that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be done. Nobody's talking about that. At least I'm not. We're talking about people who do this illegally, people who game the system. Biden on down. The leaders of other countries in Central and South America and throughout the planet, actually. That's what we're talking about. Go ahead.
Whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution.
The president isn't doing anything that's subversive to the Constitution. You're confused with your hero, Biden. There's nothing subversive to the Constitution being done. You know, the Democrat Party exists as a subversive party that's anti-Constitution, anti-Declaration, and anti-America's founding. They've been preaching this to us for decades and with a new intensity in the last few years. They trash the people of America, you. They trash the founders of America. They trash the Constitution and those who framed it, drafted it, adopted it. They trash the Constitution itself as an old document, an unworkable document, the white man's quote-unquote document, and on and on and on. You know this. They attack key elements of the Bill of Rights. They attack separation of powers. They use the 14th Amendment in ways it was never intended to be used. They want activist, radical judges on the court who will not comply with the Constitution. So what does she mean about Trump, subversive to the Constitution? Go ahead.
That is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole
nobody's defending books that people find inconvenient. See what I mean? She was nothing but a propagandist. It's good she's gone. We have enough of those on MSNBC, CNN, and elsewhere. People are opposing graphic, perverse, sexualized books and education for little kids in our public schools, our government schools, against the knowledge and the will, when they know about it, of the parents. Those are the books that we want removed from our libraries. We used to call it pornography. We're not talking about fictions and so forth and so on, mainstream fictions. We're talking about real sleaze, real sleaze. And they call this book burning, and that they're defending these books like there's a real war on books. Really? You can get any book you want. Go on Amazon, go to a library if you still do that sort of thing. Get any book you want. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about books that are filled with filth, absolutely inappropriate for young children. The manipulation of young children, the sexualization of young children, it's disgusting. That's what we're talking about. Go ahead.
Put into our spirit that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country.
It's not the real founding of the country. It's a deeply defective and flawed group of essays, propaganda, that some of the greatest living historians have condemned, even some who are left of center. It is a lie about the reason America was founded. America wasn't founded to enshrine slavery into our country. That's not why America was founded. And this is my point to you, Mr. and Mrs. America. She trashes our country. She embraces all these radical, hate-filled movements and books and all the rest. And then she wants you to think she's standing up for the Constitution. She wants you to think she's standing up for the country. She's a mess, among other things. Go ahead.
Whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And
yeah, you have a right to object to little babies being bombed. And you have a right to tell the truth about who started that war, about who hides behind the little babies, about who puts their weapons and their terrorists in hospitals, in schools. You have a right to tell the truth. You're a liar. You're the Tokyo Rose of today for Hamas and other terrorists, in my humble opinion. Go ahead.
Come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood.
Goodbye. You're a sorry person, but you're not sorry. We don't really care. We don't really care. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I won't be on this program forever. I won't be on Fox forever. I won't be anywhere forever. And that's okay. But I truly will be proud of everything I've done and everything I've said, everything I've written. I truly will be. She's a disgrace. And the fact that she had a position on a major network, or at least a format, a platform that was owned by a massive company, is an embarrassment. A true embarrassment. I don't dance on somebody's bad luck, but this isn't bad luck. This is a bad person. She's learned nothing. She'll never learn anything. She's filled with anger and hate. She was filled with anger and hate before she got to MSNBC, and she was blogging online, and she's filled with anger and hate when she was at MSNBC, and she'll be filled with anger and hate for the rest of the time, at least her time. Good riddance. I'll be right back.
What? Open.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Slow down traffic in the district on Alpha New York Avenue between the 3rd Street Tunnel and Florida Avenue, and between the Brentwood Parkway and Bladesburg Road, and the 3rd Street Tunnel still very slow northbound between D Street and New York Avenue. Watch out for delays right now traveling on DC 295 northbound from the 11th Street Bridge toward Eastern Avenue, and southbound 295 is slow from South Capitol Street over to the Beltway. Still a slow go on the Beltway inner loop through Tyson's and towards Bethesda and College Park, and the outer loop heavy from Van Dorn Street to the Wilson Bridge, and it is jammed on the outer loop between St. Barnabas Road and Branch Avenue. Now for GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 38. Tomorrow, partly sunny, a high near 62.
Working hard is worth it if you're seeing results. And when it comes to working out, the same thing is true. You want the maximum benefit in the time you have, and that's exactly what Tonal is built for. And with their latest iteration, Tonal 2, you can ensure your workout is more tailored and effective than ever. Tonal's at-home strength training system uses adaptive weight to learn from your movement and set the optimal weight for every move, adjusting in 1-pound increments up to 250 pounds, challenging even the most advanced users to push their limits. You can also experience a full-body burn with the new Arrowhit workouts, the perfect blend of heart-pumping cardio and strength. Plus, the new built-in Smart View leverages a high-resolution camera that lets you see yourself during your workout, analyzes your movement, and provides real-time coaching, just like a personal trainer. Right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code Tonal200. That's Tonal.com and use promo code Tonal200 for $200 off your purchase. That's Tonal.com, promo code Tonal200 for $200 off.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at NissanUSA.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
LifeLock, during tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off at payroll, your accountant, or a tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info in your W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get your identity stolen. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. Restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% for your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock, use promo code Bongino, or go to LifeLock.com/Bongino for 40% off. Terms apply. Do it today.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
In times of fear, World Vision is there for the most vulnerable. Through natural disasters, war, and disease, delivering life-saving aid and helping to rebuild lives. Learn more at worldvision.org.
Getting America back on the right track. Do you know how you celebrate that victory? By flying your American flag that's made in America, not somewhere overseas like China. Folks, if there's one thing you own that should be made in America, it's your American flag that you hang with pride outside your home. In fact, it should be a flag from Allegiance Flag Supply, hand sewn in Charleston, South Carolina, by dedicated American craftsmen and women who put care into every stitch, because they believe in what that flag stands for. I fly American flags all the time, but there's nothing like my Allegiance flag. It's a real showstopper, the highest quality American flag, period. Right now, when you go to showallegiance.com, that's showallegiance.com, Allegiance Flag Supply will give you $35 off your complete flag set. Again, that's showallegiance.com for American flags, made by Americans, for Americans, in America.
Making sense of your world.
There are a lot of things that really tick me off.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
WMAL, making sense of party politics, because somebody's got to hold their feet to the fire. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the great heroes who helped win the Cold War against the Soviets was Jeane Kirkpatrick. She'd been a lifelong Democrat until she joined the Reagan administration. President Reagan appointed her ambassador to the United Nations. Many of you are too young to know much about her. She was fantastic. She was fantastic. She was an outspoken individual at the United Nations before we ever had outspoken individuals at the United Nations. Now we've had a string of many. She was a professor, an expert in foreign policy, and came to Reagan's attention when he read something she had said at some point. It was an absolutely fantastic member of his administration. She would switch parties, become a Republican, and again was just fantastic. Now, at the 1984 Republican convention, she gave a stirring speech. It's a stirring speech that is relevant today, I believe, that is relevant today. We have individuals in this country, the left and the so-called right, I don't even like calling them the right, who are really the hate America first crowd. And they view us as the imperialists, us as the colonialists, us as the provocateurs, and so forth and so on. We're none of those things. We've had very lousy commander-in-chiefs in the form of Biden, as an example. But our country, our military, the American people are simply not as they say, period. Period. So I want you to listen to what she said all those years ago. It's a long time ago. I guess it's a little over 40 years ago. The great Jeane Kirkpatrick. Go.
Grenada from terror and totalitarianism was the wrong thing to do. They didn't blame Cuba or the communists for threatening American students and murdering Grenadans. They blamed the United States instead. But then, somehow, they always blame America first. When our Marines are sent to Lebanon on a multinational peacekeeping mission with the consent of the United States Congress, were murdered in their sleep. The Blame America First crowd didn't blame the terrorists who murdered the Marines. They blamed the United States. But then they always blame America first. When the Soviet Union walked out of arms control negotiations and refused even
I
to
mistimed
discuss
it, so we're going to start it over again after the bottom of the hour. I didn't look at the clock properly because we're going to have to take a break now. Isn't that correct, Mr. Producer? Okay. So we weren't going to have enough time. You get the sense for it, but I want you to hear the whole thing. It's not very long. And this Blame America First crowd exists today. It exists in the isolationists, whether they be radical left or radical right. We are constitutional conservatives. We're not radical anything. In fact, this whole political spectrum, the way they talk about it is wrong. We're square in the middle, not because we're moderates or centrists, but because we are constitutional. That's the middle. That's where everybody should be.
Hey, it's big. Rob Schmidt recently beat CNN in key ratings as millions are tuning into Newsmax. Every night, Rob Schmidt is on Newsmax revealing the truth about Elon Musk's Doge. Tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern and find out why Rob is the hottest person in cable news. Even President Trump is watching, and he says Newsmax is terrific. Reuters Institute reports that Newsmax is now one of the top news brands in America. Find out why. Just check out Newsmax on your cable system. Get Rob Schmidt with Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and much more. Download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone or home TV to start watching. It takes just seconds. With Newsmax Plus, you can watch our great shows anytime. Go to newsmaxplus.com and start your free trial. That's newsmaxplus.com. Make the switch to Newsmax today.
Media station, making sense of the news. Stock 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 6:30. I'm Heather Curtis. New guidance for federal employees who were given until 11:59 tonight to respond to the email from OPM asking them to list 5 accomplishments last week or be fired. OPM now says replying is optional. Agency heads are telling employees if they don't reply, that will not impact their employment. Elon Musk had said a lack of response would be considered a resignation. Tariffs on Canada and Mexico, Canadian and Mexican imports will be implemented next week once the deadline for a month-long delay ends. President Trump says today,
the tariffs are going forward on time, on schedule.
Mr. Trump says the U.S. has been treated very badly and taken advantage of by other countries. Traffic and weather next.
LifeLock during tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off at payroll, your accountant or a tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info in your W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get your identity stolen. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, backed by the $1 million protection package. Restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% for your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock, use promo code Bongino, or go to lifelock.com/Bongino for 40% off. Terms apply. Do it today.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS.
SIDS?
You know, sudden infant death syndrome.
Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nichd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
I was choosing alcohol over my family. That's when I made the call. Now I'm finding better ways to cope.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hi, I'm Joe Salciha, host of the Stacking Benjamin Show. You want financial independence, don't you? You want to know how all this works instead of these little sound bites?
Listen to some finance people on the radio, and they're like, oh, you're stupid.
Because people fall in this trap all the time.
You don't deserve to have money.
You're buying a lot of air.
Interest sucks.
Oh, the horrors. You never knew personal finance could be this fun.
Subconsciously, I now feel rich.
Oh, geez, like, I'm out of here. Revolution over. We won.
Yeah. Deuces, everybody.
Stacking Benjamin. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
WMAL, making sense of the economy because it's your money and your retirement. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Bars Lopez, the champion of liberty and new conservatism. Hallmark now, 877-381-3811.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I read more than one place that the Philadelphia Eagles were not going to attend an event at the White House as Donald Trump was president, should they be invited, being the Super Bowl champs. And I waited a few days, and so I posted on it. My buddy Sid, WABC New York, said, "You're going to get these guys?" I said, "No, I'm not going to denounce the Eagles as an institution, but I am going to denounce the owner and question the players. I love the team. It's in your blood. It's like everywhere else, every other city and metropolitan area. We grow up and watch the games with your father, your family, watch them on TV, or you go to the stadium. We never could get a ticket to an Eagles game. We can to Phillies games and 76ers games and Flyers games, but you get the point." And so I said, this is ridiculous. The owner of the Eagles is a big lib, big Democrat. I don't much like him. And he's still a big lib, a big Democrat, and I don't much like him, regardless. So it turns out that it is fake news. And so this is a very reliable source that this was fake news. And I say 3 cheers. And I'm glad it is. And I'm glad it was. The owner's still a big liberal Democrat, which I don't like, but he is what he but he is what he is. And so players have not disrespected the fans. They've not turned this into a partisan political event. And for that, I want to thank them, and I'm proud of them. What else do I need to say, Mr. Excuse me. Oh, yes. I want to go back to Gene Kirkpatrick and start it from the top. 1984 Republican Convention, the renomination of Ronald Reagan. Go ahead.
Blame Cuba or the communists for threatening American students and murdering Grenadians. They blame the United States instead. But then, somehow, they always blame America first. When our Marines are sent to Lebanon on a multinational peacekeeping mission with the consent of the United States Congress were murdered in their sleep. The Blame America First crowd didn't blame the terrorists who murdered the Marines. They blamed the United States. But then they always blame America first. When the Soviet Union walked out of arms control negotiations and refused even to discuss the issues, the San Francisco Democrats didn't blame Soviet intransigence. They blamed the United States. But they always blame America first. When Marxist dictators shoot their way into power in Central America, the San Francisco Democrats don't blame the guerrillas and their Soviet allies. They blame United States policies of 100 years ago. But then they always blame America first.
She was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic and right on. And I think that could be said today. That could be said today. And I have said it today. And I said it last week. And I said it yesterday. And I said it on Blaze. And I said it on Fox. And I mean it. I mean it. All right, let's get to a few other things here. There's a lot of very, very important things going on in this country that are affecting each and every one of us. We have, for example, Pete Hegseth on Fox News Sunday. Now, I don't know where generals got the idea that they have a right to lifetime appointments, or their media do. I seem to recall Harry Truman fired a general, and he was praised for it. So generals have been removed in the past. Jimmy Carter removed a tremendous general who oversaw our Korean forces, Singalab, for which Carter was praised. You know, it's so strange. In all walks of life, you have to prove yourself, and you rise to a level which is more and more and more powerful. And if you're not serving in a way that is supportive of the civilian leadership, not because they're doing something wrong, the civilian leadership, not because there's something crass about them, not because they're demanding that you do political things, but you have your own ideas and your own ways, and you're pushing your own agenda, you need to go. You need to go. So Pete Hegseth was on with Shannon Breen this Sunday. It went something like this. Cut 7, go.
I got to ask you about this rumored list of people that you allegedly put together that were all going to be cleaned out. Is there a list? Is there anybody left on the list that exists?
There's no list, Shannon. I've heard that. I've seen that very rumor, although we have a very keen eye toward military leadership and their willingness to follow lawful orders. This is all about defending the Constitution. Joe Biden gave lawful orders. A lot of them are really bad. Okay. And it's unfortunate how they eroded our military. Ideological COVID mandates. President Trump has given another set of lawful orders, and they will be followed. If they're not followed, and all these orders are in keeping with the Constitution and norms inside the military, if they're not followed, then those officers will find the door. And that's not a tough calculation. We feel really good about the direction the Pentagon is headed under President Trump. We're going to focus on warfighting and lethality and accountability and be the most transparent Pentagon that folks have seen in a long time, which is why I explain these things on a regular basis.
Exactly. He's provided enormous access. We're going to have him on next weekend as well. And as well as Pam Bondi and some of the others. And I mean, this is just basic stuff. This is the way civilian leadership in the military is supposed to operate. You know, the amazing thing here is that we, conservatives and constitutionalists, we support the military. What President Trump and Pete Hegseth are doing is getting rid of these radical left policies that have undermined the military, undermined recruiting, that have weakened our force structures. They certainly have. They're looking for savings. They say billions of dollars, and there may well be billions of dollars, but they also want to build up the regular military, the active duty military, and our weapons systems. And it seems like after every Democrat president, this is what Republican presidents have to do. It's crazy. It's crazy. And we always fall behind the enemy when there's a Democrat president. Have you noticed that too? And then they wring their hands, crocodile tears, jump up and down about how somehow we're abusing the military. We don't abuse the military. We honor it. We salute it. We praise it. We love it. They're the problem. Not us. So here's Cory Booker on Meet the Press, the firing of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Brown, who happens to be an African American. But Brown also happened to be a big critic of Donald Trump. And so he's handpicked by Biden to be the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I don't know how long he's there, not very long. And so what? That means Trump has to keep him no matter what? Of course not. That means if Trump removes him, it's all about Trump demanding loyalty. A president needs loyalty, not to his personal agenda, but to his public agenda, to his own strategies, his own beliefs. He's elected by all the people throughout the country. Not that all the people vote for him, but he's the only one who is. It is crazy listening to the left. They say, we support the Constitution. Well, that's the president. He's the commander-in-chief. Now, Kristen Welker is a buffoon at Meet the Depressed. And she asks Cory Booker, they invite Cory Booker because they know that he will attack Trump. They don't ask him any tough questions. They don't ask any tough questions about the former head of the Joint Chief. No. It's all about illusions. It's all about surface level allegations. It's all pseudo. Cut 8, go.
How do you see the firing of CQ Brown?
So what kind of a question is this? How do you see the firing of CQ Brown? Go ahead.
Chief of Staff is someone who should give independent advice on the military and national security. It's something that on both sides of the aisle we said that should be independent of politics. That's why their terms are set. But just like the FBI director, which
No. You're a liar and you're creating a false scenario. It's not a matter of the issue was not whether he's independent of politics. The issue is whether the president has confidence that he'll follow the president's agenda and the president's orders. And clearly he's not. Cory Booker picks a chief of staff. He picks a chief of staff that'll do what he wants him to do. Yes, Brown should be independent of politics, but he doesn't have independent authority like Milley thought he did. Now, Donald Trump has experienced enough with these generals to know what he wants, And it really is a smear, a stereotypical smear to suggest that all these generals who Donald Trump may pick or who Hegseth may pick for various positions and so forth and so on, they're political, they're partisan, they're not qualified. But the generals that Biden picked or Obama picked, they're all highly qualified, and you can't even question if, in fact, they will serve this president, this commander-in-chief, the way he should be served. Go ahead.
General Brown was supported overwhelmingly by Democrats and Republicans. Donald Trump has...
It doesn't matter. He doesn't report to you. He doesn't report to Congress. He reports to the commander-in-chief. He's a general. Another one who's confused about separation of powers and whose lane he's in or what lane he's in. Go ahead.
Sending a dangerous message to the military. It's not about your independent expertise. It's not about your years of service. It's about your personal political loyalty to me.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Judgments are made every day in the government and in the private sector. If a person that has enormous responsibility, like the head of the Joint Chiefs, who reports to you, if that person is the kind of person, whether it's personality, whether it's character, whether it's substance, whatever it is the best person in that position for the CEO, for the commander-in-chief. Because in the end, it's the commander-in-chief who's responsible and accountable for defending this country. Go ahead.
Dangerous message to send to our military at a time when we really need...
I actually suspect that the men and women of the military, perhaps not the highest of the high brass, but the men and women of the military are relieved that Biden is gone, that Austin is gone, that Milley's gone, that Trump is in, that Hegseth is in, and so forth and so on. Nobody's asked them. Cory Booker just assumes to speak for them. No, Cory Booker speaks for the highest of the highest brass. The question you should ask yourself is, why is he so comfortable with them? What does he know that we don't know? Do they talk to him? They don't report to him? What exactly is going on? What's going on is that Booker and his ilk are going to oppose anything and everything Donald Trump does, whether it's reforming the bureaucracy, whether it is moving certain individuals out and replacing them with other individuals. They will oppose every inch of it, and they will defend every inch of the existing bureaucracy. And the media is all in on it. Kristen Walker, how do you see the firing of C.Q. Brown? What kind of a question is that? I'll be right back.
What's open?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Chris Plant here, inviting you to join me and my best girl this July on our Listener Sea Cruise to Iceland. It's going to be a great group of Americans on our cruise, cruising together on Regent Seven Seas' brand new ultra-luxury ship, the Grandeur. Iceland has so much incredible stuff to offer: majestic scenery, waterfalls, hot springs, and a whole lot more. Book now, though. Space is limited. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com for all the details. That's ChrisPlantCruise.com.
On 395 northbound at the 14th Street Bridge, there is an accident causing very slow traffic from the Pentagon, and there is crash activity right now on the BW Parkway southbound between the Beltway and 410, and that is traffic jam from NASA Goddard. Northbound side is heavy on 202 to the Beltway. In Oxon Hill on the local lanes on the outer loop before 210, an accident has been cleared from the roadway. And in Sterling, northbound 28 is closed between Old Ox Road and Sterling Boulevard due to an accident. Delays begin at the Dulles Toll Road. Now from GarageBreakFair.com to WMAL Storm Watch forecast.
Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 38. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high near 62.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Making sense of Washington.
So it happened again? Is that what you're telling me? Yet another guest of this program now has a job in the Trump administration.
Vince Colonnese, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
The Trump transition team spending a lot of time on WMAL.com looking at all of the guests who have appeared on this program, which does bring a smile to my face. I do like that good people are getting good jobs.
Vince Colonnese, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. WMAL.
After more than a year of war, terror, and pain in Israel, there's still a great demand for basic humanitarian aid. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews has supported and continues to support those in the Holy Land, still facing the lingering horrors of war and terrorism, and those who are in desperate need right now. Your ongoing monthly tax-deductible gift of $45 will provide critically needed aid immediately to communities in the North and South devastated by this ongoing war. And your generosity to the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews will deliver help to those in need, including evacuees and refugees from war-torn areas, elderly Holocaust survivors, families who've lost everything, and many, many more. You can provide hope during a time of great danger and uncertainty. So please call 844-866-IFCJ and give them your support, please. That's 844-866-IFCJ, 844-866-IFCJ.
Making sense of your world.
Greatly appreciated.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
I love listening to you.
Making sense of the news. WMAL, making sense of the markets, because generational wealth doesn't build itself. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
The average person today is feeling the financial strain now more than ever. Expenses are way up, wages aren't keeping pace. Many people are finding it nearly impossible to make ends meet. Thanks, Joe Biden. Look what you left us. Donald Trump is moving heaven and earth trying to address this. And with a little left over after covering the basics, it's no surprise that many are resorting to these credit cards just to get by, carrying high balances and interest rates in the 20s and even the 30s. It'll break you. Just a matter of time. Now, here's a lifeline I want to throw you. If you're a homeowner and you're stuck in this cycle of mounting debt, you need to call my friends at American Finance. They're the best of the best. This is a family-owned business started 25 years ago with the highest of ratings, not some big bank. They're salary-based mortgage consultants for saving homeowners on average $800 a month. That's like $10,000 a year, putting your hard-earned money back where it belongs. And as I always tell you, the interest that you're paying is not only much lower than the credit cards, it's tax deductible up to $10,000. So this is really a no-brainer. It's all your money. It's just a matter of where you put it and how you arrange it. And that's what American Financing will help you do. Plus, if you act now, you might even be able to skip your next mortgage payment. There are no upfront fees, so it costs you absolutely nothing to find out how much you can save each month. So what I'm saying is contact them and find out how much you can save, because you want to break free from the stress of this debt spiral, or it's going to suck you under. Call American Financing today. They're there right now. Take control of your financial future. But you have to call them. They can't call you. They don't have your number. You just got to do it. 888-900-1828. 888-900-1828. That's 888-900-1828. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Let's go back here. People, I can't print anything today. It's driving me crazy, but I'm doing what I'm doing. Now, in addition to joyless read, as the New York Post reports exclusively, MSNBC promotes Jen Psaki. Access shows hosted by three more lefty anchors in wake of Reed's ouster. And they needed three reporters to report this, of course. Can't do it with just one these days. MSNBC host Jen Psaki will slide into a new primetime slot as part of a massive shakeup that includes the ouster of Joy Reid. Psaki, the former press secretary for Biden, she lied to us repeatedly about Biden's dementia, didn't she? Perfect fit over there. Take over the 9 p.m. duties Tuesdays through Fridays from current host Alex Wagner. Beginning in late April, the network said. Why? She's not a ratings getter. They say she is. She isn't. They put her against me a couple of times, didn't they, Mr. Producer? The word crush comes to mind. I crushed her. And the overhaul, left-leaning network by new president Rebecca Cutler also includes acting weekend hosts. I can't pronounce the names of these people. Nobody watched any of these people. Nobody cares if they're there, if they're not there. I mean, if MSNBC's on, usually by mistake, the sound isn't on, and people need a nightlight. That's pretty much it. It's the nightlight channel. I'll be right back.
Making sense of your world.
I agree with everything you're saying.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
We are just great for what's going on.
Making sense of the news.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
I was choosing alcohol over my family. That's when I made the call. Now I'm finding better ways to cope.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it.
I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino brings his expert insight to today's biggest news stories.
You may not hear this anywhere else. This is the kind of stuff. It's real.
Tackling hot button issues with unmatched energy and a passion for the truth.
To put one of the many Bongino rules of the show tattooed on your cerebral cortex, it is this one.
The Dan Bongino Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donut Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donutshoes.org.
Cumulus Media Station, making sense of the news. News now.
WMAL News at 7. I'm Heather Curtis. Federal workers are now being told they will not lose their jobs if they don't respond to an OPM email asking to list 5 accomplishments from last week by 11:59 tonight. Employees are now being told that a response is voluntary and will have no impact on their employment status. Elon Musk saying on X this morning that workers who don't take the email seriously will soon be furthering their career elsewhere. President Trump calling OPM's email to federal workers great, saying today,
there was a lot of genius in sending it. We're trying to find out if people are working. And so we're sending a letter to people. Please tell us what you did last week. If people don't respond, it's very possible that there is no such person.
Attorneys representing unions and others sued today, saying Elon Musk's demand violates the law. DOGE's cuts could hit the DMV's economy hard, according to George Mason University economist Terry Clower. He says that 40% of the economy is tied to the income of federal workers and contractors. He tells 7 News that the people losing their jobs,
those households have less money to spend, and if they go in, maybe they shift to jobs that don't pay as well. Well, that affects sales taxes.
And he says at some point it could impact the housing market. President Trump saying during a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron at the White House today that the U.S. is close to making a minerals deal with Ukraine. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky could come to the White House this week to sign it. When asked if the deal would include a security guarantee for Ukraine.
Europe is going to make sure that nothing happens. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. I think once we settle, there's going to be no more war in Ukraine. And you're not going to have it's not going to be a very big problem.
Macron said the peace agreement could be put in place with security guarantees, including European troops going to Ukraine as peacekeepers, which Mr. Trump says Putin would accept. But Putin says he hasn't talked to Mr. Trump in detail about resolving the conflict in Ukraine. Arlington is the latest county wrangling with its budget proposal for FY26.
This budget is something that funds all of our services that are essential.
County Manager Mark Schwartz presenting the $1.69 billion budget that does include an increase in Arlington's meals tax.
From 4% of a bill to 5% of a bill. That puts us on a par with Alexandria and close to D.C.
For now, the average homeowner would pay about $300 more, even though the tax rate stays the same. And the county's reserve fund is getting a boost
to try to deal with the uncertainty of what's going on across the river.
Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
Another conservative media personality is set to join President Trump's administration. Former U.S. Secret Service agent Dan Bongino, heard here on WMAL every weekday afternoon, has been appointed by President Trump to serve as FBI Deputy Director under Kash Patel. Bongino calling the move bittersweet.
Over the course of the next couple of weeks or so, I have to wind down my business interests. And one of my businesses is being a radio host for you all.
Bongino does not need congressional approval, though Democrat Senator Chris Murphy calls it a bad dream. President Trump praising Bongino for his passion to the country. Anne Arundel County will open municipal buildings tomorrow after closing them today to investigate what County Executive Stuart Pittman calls a cyber incident of external origin impacting some public services. He didn't give specifics, but says the investigation's ongoing and the county is still taking precautions to ensure the safety of its systems. But he says some services may be limited, so if you plan to visit a county building tomorrow, contact the department first. Traffic and weather.
Sometimes it feels like you're just moving at hyper speed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting.
Unplug this.
Getting to the all-new Nissan Murano.
Hey, I got a phone number for you, Acid Drip. You call this number. You call that number right there. Ask them to come down the house.
Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Working hard is worth it if you're seeing results. And when it comes to working out, the same thing is true. You want the maximum benefit in the time you have, and that's exactly what Tonal is built for. And with their latest iteration, Tonal 2, you can ensure your workout is more tailored and effective than ever. Tonal's at-home strength training system uses adaptive weight to learn from your movement and set the optimal weight for every move, adjusting in 1 pound increments up to 250 pounds, challenging even the most advanced users to push their limits. You can also experience a full body burn with the new Arrowhit workouts, the perfect blend of heart-pumping cardio and strength. Plus, the new built-in Smart View leverages a high-resolution camera that lets you see yourself during your workout, analyzes your movement, and provides real-time coaching, just like a personal trainer. Right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code TONAL200. That's Tonal.com and use promo code TONAL200 for $200 off your purchase. That's Tonal.com, promo code TONAL200 for $200 off.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
On 395 northbound at the 14th Street Bridge, there is an accident causing very slow traffic from the Pentagon, and there is crash activity right now on the BW Parkway southbound between the Beltway and 410, and that is traffic jam from NASA Goddard. Northbound side is heavy from 202 to the Beltway. In Oxon Hill and the local lanes on the outer loop before 210, an accident has been cleared from the roadway. And in Sterling, northbound 28 is closed between Old Ox Road and Sterling Boulevard due to an accident. Delays begin at the Douglas Toll Road. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Clouds will gradually build moving through the evening and into the overnight with wake-up temperatures tomorrow morning in the mid-30s to lower 40s, partly to mostly cloudy on Tuesday, upper 50s to lower 60s. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin in the First Alert Weather Center.
Right now, 53 degrees in Lorton, 49 in Burtonsville, and 53 degrees under partly cloudy skies here in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin.
Deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Mark Levin here, our number 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. A reminder,
there are multiple ways to listen to this show if you don't have a radio handy, or if your schedule is such that you can't align your schedule with a particular radio programming lineup. We love here our affiliates, of course. We also have satellite radio, which is fantastic, and live streaming. We have Mark Levin app, our iHeartRadio app, where we thank iHeart for their involvement. But here's the deal. You can go to marklevinshow.com, marklevinshow.com. That's the mothership. Click on Audio Rewind and select your favorite podcast platform. Now, if you already have a favorite podcast platform, just search for the Mark Levin Show on that platform. That's it. It's all free. You're like 2 clicks away. That's it. You're not going to find all my full podcast interviews and specials on YouTube because we have our own YouTube channel now as well. Go to youtube.com at Mark Levin Show or just search Mark Levin Show on YouTube. It's that simple, and you'll hear everything. And so we don't husband all our focus on one platform or another. We want you to enjoy the program on every or any platform that you're used to listening to or that is more convenient for you. In other words, don't allow somebody else's decisions or bureaucracy to affect your ability to listen to the program. That's all. You can do it on your own. I was wondering when this was going to happen, quite frankly. You see, we are America-centric, and that's a good thing. America first, and that's a good thing. But there's other countries that are saying, you know what? Excuse me. You know what? We're going to do that too. You go, what do they mean by that? Here's Breitbart. Likely German chancellor rejects Trump. That's their headline. Accuses U.S. of Russian-style election interference. Calls for independence from America. Now, this guy's supposed to be the big conservative. Following his party's victory in federal elections on Sunday, Friedrich Merz, and likely next chancellor of Germany, rejected overtures from President Trump. Rejected them while calling for independence from the United States and accusing Washington of election interference. German voters firmly rejected the former leftist governing coalition of Social Democrats and Greens in favor of the supposedly conservative Christian Democrats and the populist right Alternative for Germany. Now, the Christian Democrats, the leader of that party during the Reagan's period was Helmut Kohl. He was quite good, actually. In response to the election results, President Trump commented on his Truth Social platform, quote, looks like the Conservative Party in Germany has won the very big and highly anticipated election. Much like the USA, people of Germany got tired of the no common sense agenda, especially in energy and immigration, that has prevailed for so many years. The president said, this is a great day for Germany and for the United States for America under the leadership of a gentleman named Donald J. Trump. Congratulations to all, many more victories to follow. But the successor to Angela Merkel and likely incoming Chancellor Friedrich Merz, whose party came first in Sunday's vote but fell well short of a majority, with just 28.5% of the vote. And, of course, the pro, I don't like saying anti-immigration, the pro-legal immigration party, the anti-illegal immigration party came in a strong second. And this is the coalition. Anyway, he was quick to reject a right-wing alliance with the AfD in favor of a left-wing coalition and distance himself from Trump and America in general. Wait a minute. He was quick to reject a right-wing alliance with the AfD in favor of a left-wing coalition to distance himself from Trump and America in general. Oh, that's interesting. So he sold out his voters, according to this. I'm communicating closely with a lot of prime ministers and heads of EU states. And for me, it's an absolute priority to strengthen Europe as quickly as possible so that we can achieve independence from the U.S. step by step, Merz said per state broadcaster DW. I never thought I would ever need to say something like that on television, but after the latest statements made by Donald Trump last week, it's clear that the Americans, in any case, these Americans, this administration, mostly don't care about the fate of Europe one way or another. Merz went on to accuse the Trump administration of having committed election interference. Seriously? Likely hinting a key Trump ally, Elon Musk, a vocal supporter of the anti-mass immigration Alternative for Germany party. That's not election interference if Elon Musk says he supports somebody and so forth and so on. Election interference is tampering with the electoral process, the mechanical processes. He said that the interventions from Washington were no less drastic, dramatic, and ultimately no less brazen than the interventions that we've seen from Moscow. Wow. Breitbart London, democracy betrayed. Right-wing dominates Germany elections, but new chancellor may betray voters to partner with a left-wing.
Piece of banana bread with ice cream. I toasted it.
The likely incoming chancellor has previously threatened that Musk's companies may face political or legal repercussions for his supposed interference during the election campaign. In other words, he wanted an outright victory, a much larger percentage. In addition to his ex-social media platform, Musk's Tesla firm also has a major gigafactory manufacturing plant in Germany. Maybe they ought to move those the hell out of there. Merz also confirmed he intends to continue Germany's restrictive speech laws in response to criticisms of a Berlin censorship from U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance earlier this month. He said freedom of speech remains freedom of speech, but fake news, hate speech, crimes are subject to legal restrictions and independent courts. Well, this guy's no conservative. He may well be a radical, quote-unquote, right-winger in the German sense. Following the strong result for the AfD, that's the other conservative party, the anti-illegal immigration party, which saw its support double over the last election to 20.8%.
Call the cops there, Alpesh. You called the business. They laughed at you. Call the cops right there. That's the Governor Police Department. Call them.
Coalition government. MERS has said
do what JC did.
To form a new government,
please.
With the ousted Social Democrats and potentially even the far left Greens, rather than working with the AfD. This is despite apparently aligning more closely with the right-wing party on issues such as the Green Agenda and migration. The CDU leader said he would begin talks with the leftist party today, and that he is very confident in their ability to form a government in the coming days. So this guy has been plotting this all along. This is sickening.
4 pounds of M&M's.
Absolutely.
That's a big jar.
But the socialist co-leader Lars Klingbeil downplayed the idea of quickly formed coalition, saying that it's not certain that his party will even be willing to join with the former Merkel party again, indicating that MERS may need to give concessions to the left. Yeah, they're playing the guy. On key areas of policy such as mass migration, notwithstanding his campaign promise of clamping down on the border. This guy sounds like a rhino, doesn't he, Mr. Blusen? What do we call these people? Not Republican in name only. Well, whatever. He's a fraud and a phony and a fink.
Yeah, did you see me clone Shandcamp? You like that?
You can see the conservative leader in Canada, who's been at least obliquely critical of Donald Trump. So you're starting to see this going on here and there. A lot of countries have just gotten used to the way business America has operated in the past, the recent past as well. They've gotten used to it. They've gotten used to being able to exploit, in many respects, our country. So things are a little different right now. I'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Working hard is worth it if you're seeing results. And when it comes to working out, the same thing is true. You want the maximum benefit in the time you have, and that's exactly what Tonal is built for. And with their latest iteration, Tonal 2, you can ensure your workout is more tailored and effective than ever. Tonal's at-home strength training system uses adaptive weight to learn from your movement and set the optimal weight for every move, adjusting in 1-pound increments up to 250 pounds, challenging even the most advanced users to push their limits. You can also experience a full-body burn with the new Arrow Hit workouts, the perfect blend of heart-pumping cardio and strength. Plus, the new built-in Smart View leverages a high-resolution camera that lets you see yourself during your workout.
Oh, the texture of the bread, toasting it, almost burning it.
Right now,
chocolate chips,
$200 off your
fudge swirl ice cream on top of it.
That's Tonal.com and use promo code Tonal200 for $200 off your purchase. That's Tonal.com, promo code Tonal200 for $200 off.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then
got the speaker right here.
You get all new Nissan Murano, and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof, while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at NissanUSA.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
LifeLock, during tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off your payroll, your accountant, or tax preparer, accounts on the data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info on their W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get
or Tiffany talk about getting blocked and then being talked about behind her back. That's what you're doing, Shan Camp.
Fix it. Backed by the $1 million.
I'm supposed to like you though.
Guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now. Save up to 40%
I could feel
for
it.
your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock. Use promo code Bongino or go to lifelock.com/Bongino for 40% off.
Well, you think haggis is entertainment, but you know.
Yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus.
They ain't in bed with a fucking blow-up doll with the American flag and he lives in fucking England somewhere.
Big toe and then it spread.
I find that entertaining. Tin Cap, there's something wrong with you, lady. Must be the fucking drugs you took.
He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over at crystalflush.com.
WMAL.
In today's digital age, where cyber threats loom larger than ever, safeguarding your personal information is paramount. So why is Congress considering a law that could put your credit card data at greater risk of being hacked and exposed to foreign networks? This Durbin-Marshall credit card bill could jeopardize your financial data, make it more susceptible to cyber intrusions. It's a controversial bill that proposes a shift in billions of dollars worth of consumer transactions to payment networks that lack the robust security measures consumers rely on. Who could possibly want that? Well, the answer, woke corporate megastores seeking to inflate their multi-billion-dollar profit margins. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill will undermine our safe and convenient payment systems and endanger your data security. It's time to take a stand. Visit electronicpaymentscoalition.org. Make your voice heard. Tell your senators to oppose the radical Durbin-Marshall credit card bill, paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Making sense of your world. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Out there making sense of the news. Washington's best way to wake up. O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on WMAL.
Welcome back, America. For some reason, Susan Rice is back on MSLSD, of course. And she's there to attack Trump and attack Elon Musk. She was an invisible Svengali during the Biden administration. And whatever happened to her son? Remember how patriotic her son was? I guess they silenced him, Mr. Bruce, and locked him in the closet. I don't know. Seemed like an aspiring, smart patriot, so forth. I bet he still is. But there is something to say about loyalty to your mother and father, so.
Got a lot of miles on his back.
His mother is Susan Rice, and she's on MSLSD. And what words of wisdom does Susan have for us? Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi? No. Cat 9, go.
It's extraordinary. I mean, what Trump is doing, using Elon Musk as his tool, is literally dismantling the United States federal government.
No, hold on. How is he dismantling the federal government under the Constitution? He's dismantling.
Wow. You got her.
In the government.
Well, we have Condoleezza Rice, but she won't say anything.
He's dismantling that part of the government that has absolutely no constitutional basis whatsoever. That's what he's doing. He's beginning the dismantling of these entities. Or we're going to go broke.
Hey, Wiggins.
We're going to cease to be free. Or we're going to lose any.
There's my shoulder right there. There's my arm.
That's what he's doing. And the American Marxists, of which she's one, of which there are many, they are appalled. They're shocked.
Pesh.
They did everything they could to stop Trump from getting back into the Oval Office.
Call them up. Tell them Billy Hayden's been racist out here. See what they do.
And rather than shy, cautious,
This dumb fucker called Rent-A-Center.
Their entire plan backfired. He was elected in a landslide, and he's a man on a mission. Not to dismantle the constitutional federal government.
Then the guy up there told my nephew first. He's telling skies. Should have called me first.
But I don't care what the court said. I'm reading my Constitution. I care what the framers of the Constitution had to say. Go ahead.
Terrific as that is, laying off talented, experienced public servants who.
And it's amazing when people in the private sector are laid off, you don't hear squat. When the pandemic hit and people in the public sector were protected, but people in the private sector lost their jobs. And I don't mean millionaires and billionaires, although that's possible too. I mean waiters and waitresses. I mean people who work for a living and get dirt into their fingernails and so forth and so on. You didn't hear squat. So what if these small businesses went under? So what if these people lost their jobs and don't have a paycheck? So what? But all of a sudden, see, the private citizen, the private sector citizen is a second-class citizen. Second class to government employees, second class to illegal aliens. That's how Susan Rice and her help think of us. Go ahead.
The American people at very low salaries compared to what they could get in the private sector.
You know what? They'll now have an opportunity to get higher salaries in the private sector, right, Mr. Producer? So this is an opportunity. Now, the salaries in government are pretty darn good. They're pretty darn good. And Madam Callscreen, I don't want to hear from bureaucrats. I don't want to hear from teachers how they're underpaid. There's a simple way to deal with that. Leave and do what Susan Rice said. Join the private sector and get more money if you think that's possible. But a lot of people in the private sector are not earning more than people in government. They're not earning more than teachers. A lot of people. And they don't have the benefits. They don't have guaranteed medical care and guaranteed pension and so forth and so on. They don't have those things. So when you make a decision to go into government or go into teaching, and these are things you really want to do, and that's okay, and that's good, and so forth and so on, you know the circumstances. You're getting security over enormous wealth. But a lot of people in the private sector don't get security or enormous wealth. They just work hard every day. And we're surrounded by them. You can see them everywhere. They're in your family. You can see them when you go to the store or a restaurant or a drive-thru or go to the dry cleaner or 1,000 other places. There they are for everybody to see. No guarantees. And so for the first time, truly in my lifetime, people in the national federal government are getting laid off. I've never seen anything like this. Never. I've never seen anything like this. But if, as Susan Rice says, there's more opportunity and higher pay in the private sector, welcome. And you'll see that it's not so easy in the private sector either. You got to work hard. You got to fight for everything you get. That's what it's about. Nothing's going to be handed to you. And many of you will now understand why people in the private sector are sick of confiscatory taxes and regulation that makes it very difficult to make a living, and on and on and on. It's important that people experience that. Go ahead. Let's go to cut 10, please. Go.
When you slash and end all USAID programs, you're not just starving and killing innocent people overseas.
You're starving and killing innocent people overseas. This is the America Hate First stuff that Gene Kirkpatrick was talking about in a different context. We don't have any money. Right now, it's all monopoly money. Now it's all printed money. We owe ourselves over $300 trillion, which means we don't actually have any money. And that includes all the off-budget items, like so-called entitlements, and the on-budget items. The average family is owed, or you owe in the average family, $300,000. $300,000. But Susan Rice doesn't care about any of that. She doesn't think the bill will ever come due. Your children, certainly your grandchildren, and certainly the generation you're born are going to be crushed by this, by us. And I wonder what they'll think about the billions and billions of dollars going overseas to foreigners and other countries. I wonder what they'll think about that. Subsidies for illegal immigrants who aren't even supposed to be here. I wonder what they'll think about that. Yeah. Well, the economy collapses. It's not possible. Look at Germany after World War I. Oh, it's possible. And it happens. Great nations don't last forever. In fact, I can't think of one that has from its founding lasted forever. Of course, you'll say, Mark, forever hasn't happened yet. Okay, but take a look at Rome. Rome was a republic for about 400 or 500 years. It existed for about 1,000 years when you count its empire years, and then it's gone. Athens predated Rome. It's gone. It's just gone. The United States isn't even 300 years old, and look what we're dealing with. Massive debt like the world's never seen before. Do you think our currency can withstand this forever? Look what happened with the pandemic. Yes, this pandemic, how all of a sudden, all the democratic protections that were in place disappeared. It was ruled by the iron fist.
WMAL.
You're right.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
Oh, it's awful, huh?
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com. Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries. And when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
In McLean, inner loop of the Beltway, there is a disabled tractor trailer. Left lane is the only thing that's getting by at Georgetown Pike exit. Very slow from Leesburg Pike. In Merrifield, the outer loop of the Beltway is stop and go from Arlington Boulevard to Little River Turnpike. Also, outer loop in Alexandria is slow from Telegraph Road to the Wilson Bridge. In Prince George's County, outer loop is jammed up between St. Barnabas and Branch Avenue. And in D.C., 395 northbound, there is a crash. 2 left lanes are blocked at 14th Street. It's crawling from the Pentagon. And now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 38. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high near 62.
LifeLock, during tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off at payroll, your accountant or a tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info in your W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get your identity stolen. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, backed by the $1 million protection package. Restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% for your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock, use promo code Bongino, or go to LifeLock.com/Bongino for 40% off. Terms apply. Do it today.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Making sense of your world. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. WMAL, making sense of the vote, because elections have consequences. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
When the going gets tough, tough gets much of it. Calling now at 877-381-3811. Yeah.
There are periods of economic uncertainty, Mr. Producer. Gold should be a safe haven, I think. A diversification, because unlike stocks or bonds, it's a physical asset that gives many investors peace of mind, including me. Gold has been a valued investment for thousands of years, quite frankly. So I put my own money into things like gold in order to diversify, and I use Advantage Gold. I've dealt with many gold companies. Advantage is the best. I want you to give them a call. 800-900-8000 are there right now. Join me in this investment strategy. They'll give you a free investment kit so you can take a look at it and figure things out. Very transparent, this company. When the stock market has its ups and downs, gold remains a rock-solid asset. It's not just a hedge. It can be a proven safe haven for your hard-earned money. If you're looking to help secure your financial future, now's the time to add gold to your investments. I wouldn't wait till it's too late. Now, look, who knows? But there's a lot of folks out there talking about things that might happen to the stock market. These are important people that seem to know what they're talking about. And we also see there's a lot of movement towards the purchase of gold by countries and by banks. So you don't have to go crazy, and that's why diversification is very, very important. Diversification with gold. Call my friends at Advantage Gold today. They're there right now. They're the experts. They'll walk you through everything step by step. They're very friendly. They're not going to give you the bum's rush. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get help taking steps to control your future. Collect the information. That's 800-900-8000. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. Again, 800-900-8000. It's quite simple. Don't be nervous. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. President Trump has the president of France, not Vichy France, although pretty close these days, at the White House today. And, of course, the press is there, and they have a few questions for him. I thought this was important. Go ahead, Mr. Producer.
You're talking about the last email that was sent where he wanted to know what you did this week. You know why he wanted that, by the way? I thought it was great because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist. They're trying to find. That's how badly various parts of our government were run by, and especially by this last group.
Let's stop it. What the hell is wrong with getting an email saying, who are you and what do you do? I don't understand, Mr. Producer. Do you? Why is that so offensive? Who are you and what do you do? We want to know what you do. It's a massive bureaucracy. I don't know why that's an offensive question. Who are you and what do you do? Go ahead.
To find out who's working for the government. Are we paying other people that aren't working? And, where's all this? Where's the...
So what he means by that is, if you're not coming into work and you say you're working from home, how do we know you're not doing two jobs? Where you're really not doing your government work, but you're doing other work on the side. How do we know? We don't know. There's no supervision. They've looked at payroll payments. In many cases, they don't know who's getting what. The systems are unable to be tracked. And so the smartest thing you can do is send out an email. Who are you? And what do you do? It's smart. Go ahead.
Hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud so far. And we've just started. We're actually going to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there. Because maybe somebody stole the gold. Tons of gold. So I think it was actually, there was a lot of genius in sending it. We're trying to find out if people are working. And so we're sending a letter to people. Please tell us what you did last week. If people don't respond, it's very possible that there is no such person or they're not working.
Now, you know damn well there's massive amounts of graft, and so do I. When you run the government like the government and not like a business, or you really don't run the government, just things go on and on and on. Of course, there's a lot of people who are going to take advantage. That's the nature of the beast. And they don't think they're going to have to explain themselves, be held to account. And I have a president coming in and Elon Musk and his people saying, okay, who are you and what do you do? It's important to find out. Now, what about the Constitution? Isn't this a constitutional crisis? We have what's going on right now is judicial tyranny within the federal district courts. They don't think they're federal district courts. They think they're federal national courts. They're federal district courts. The districts were created by Congress. The number of judges in each district was created by Congress. And so these judges, who are nothing more than slip and fall, ambulance chasing lawyers in some cases in black robes, or radical ideologues in black robes with a wooden gavel. And so these judges think they should run the government, but for the most part, they think they should protect the government within the government. There's your constitutional crisis, right there. So here's the president at this press conference where Macron is sort of the mannequin standing near him. Cut 13, go.
The radical left or whoever it may be starts screaming about the Constitution, but it has nothing to do with the Constitution. It has to do with fairness to this country. It has to do with being ripped off. And when you read the things that all of these billions, and I mean many billions, hundreds of billions of dollars have been spent on, that's all you have to do is stand up here and read them. I could stand up all day and read the kind of things where we're spending all of this money. The good news is that when you think of how rich a nation we can be when we get rid of this, sometimes you'll buy a company and you'll see it was really well run. They accounted for every penny. Well, not much you can do there. You got yourself a bad deal. This one is the exact opposite. Tremendous fraud, tremendous waste. And when you think of what it is, Elon uses an expression, caring. If we had people that cared, just cared a little bit when they did contracts, when they negotiated with outside vendors on behalf of the United States, that's what I'm doing now. I'm negotiating for the people of the United States. So we're doing a great job of it. I will say we found it'll be hundreds of billions of dollars of waste and fraud and abuse.
There should be a ticker tape parade for these people. A ticker tape parade. I'd like to know the name of every single person, young or not. Because they're patriots. They're heroes. Who are digging into this, who are finding things that nobody else can find. Some of the smartest people, apparently, that exist when it comes to these sorts of things. And they're doing a a tremendous job for we the people. They're saving us money. Us money. They're trying to put the government back into rebalance under the Constitution. They're not a threat to anybody except this government within the government, except this underground government and the Democrat Party and the media and all of the cultural Marxists and economic socialists who've created this thing since the late 1800s and early 1900s. That's how long this has been going on. This is really the first time that anything at this level, to this extent, has been done, number one, to inform we the people of what's taking place. Number two, to identify specific problems. Number three, to go anywhere and everywhere in this federal Leviathan without fear. And number four, to try and hold people to account, to try and stop the money flow, to try and get money back, and to try to streamline the bureaucracy, which has never been streamlined. Never. Now, I would ask you folks who work in the private sector, some of you have lost your jobs. I know I did many years ago. And I promised myself it would never happen again, and it didn't. Or that if it did happen again, it wouldn't matter. But most people aren't in that position. So when a small business is closed, that means somebody goes broke and the employees don't have jobs. When a restaurant fails, that means the cooks, the janitors, the waiters, and on and on and on. They're out of a job. They got to find a new job. The point is this. The government has never had to face a similar potentiality. Never. Just raise taxes or spend more money and keep shoving it into these departments, so many of which we don't even know how many. These agencies, so many of which we don't even know how many. Keep growing the government. You hear them always say, we need more money to do X. We need more money to do Y. Sure they do. We're underpaid. Sure you are. We got it. No problem. Gets bigger and bigger and bigger. No accountability. None. You're saying things now that should have been taking place for the last century. For the last century. The government's not immune from examination. In fact, it should be the first in line. The people who work for it are not immune from examination. In fact, they hold a public trust. They should be examined carefully. The money that's being spent is our money. It's not the government's money. It's not the money for those who run the government and make decisions on what will and will not be funded. So that needs to be monitored carefully and often. And so some money's being cut. Some employees are being cut. There's 2.4 to 2.5 million civilian employees in the federal government and millions of more federal contractors. They haven't laid off 10,000 people. They haven't laid off 20,000 people. They haven't laid off 50,000 people. They have not. And so the Democrats, their media, the government unions, they're going to create this fear-mongering environment where they're telling you you're going to lose your services, you're going to use this, you're going to lose that. They've barely touched the tip of the iceberg. Barely. I'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
LifeLock, during tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off at payroll, your accountant or a tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info in your W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get your identity stolen. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it backed by the $1 million protection package. Restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% for your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock, use promo code Bongino, or go to lifelock.com/Bongino for 40% off. Terms apply. Do it today.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
Hi, I'm Joe Salciha, host of the Stacking Benjamin Show. You want financial independence, don't you? You want to know how all this stuff works instead of these little sound bites?
Listen to some finance people on the radio, and they're like, oh, you're stupid.
Because people fall in this trap all the time.
You don't deserve to have money.
You're buying a lot of air.
Interest sucks.
Oh, the horrors. You never knew personal finance could be this fun.
Subconsciously, I now feel rich.
Oh, geez, like, I'm out of here. Revolution over. We won.
Yeah, deuces, everybody.
Stacking Benjamins. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
During periods of economic uncertainty, gold should be the safe haven you're looking for. Unlike stocks or bonds, it's a physical asset that gives investors peace of mind. Gold has been a valued investment for thousands of years. It's why I put my own money into things like gold with Advantage Gold, because I believe in diversification. Call 800-900-8000. Join me in this investment strategy. Folks, when the stock market has its ups and downs, gold remains a rock-solid asset. It's not just a hedge. It can be a proven safe haven for your hard-earned money. You're looking to help secure your financial future. Now's the time to diversify, to add gold to your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call my friends at Advantage Gold today. They're the experts I trust, and they'll walk you through everything step by step. Call 800-900-8000 right now. Take steps to control your future. That's 800-900-8000. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Making sense of your world.
I can't believe this.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Well, I am so with you.
Making sense of the news. First thing each morning. O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on WMAL.
There's a truly and righteous organization out there where their volunteers and their president spend every waking hour trying to serve others, trying to serve the Holy Land, the people in the Holy Land who are under relentless assault. You see, the Jewish people in the Holy Land, they're having to spend their time defending themselves. They're having to spend their time healing their wounded, burying their dead in a war they didn't start, but they have to be the victors and end it, because otherwise they will cease to exist. These are the people of the Bible. These are the people in the Torah that have been in this part of the world, that is, what is today Israel, for 4,000 years. And they're being told to get out or die. The economy in Israel is very poor right now for obvious reasons. The workforce, well, many of the men and women are fighting wars. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews over the last 40 years has brought together Christians and Jews to support these people in the Holy Land, to help make sure that they have food, clothing, and clean water, to help make sure that they can get some medical supplies. And they are more in need of resources now than ever before. They are protecting and helping evacuees and refugees from these war-torn areas, first responders and volunteers, wounded soldiers, elderly Holocaust survivors, families who've lost everything. They're not part of government. They don't get money from government. It's an organization that is essentially made up of people who care, Christians and Jews. And so I want us to help them. I want you, the great people and Levinites and patriots in this audience, please, let's do whatever we can to provide some hope, some sustenance. And these people are fighting for us. They're fighting the barbarians. They're fighting the barbarians that hit us on 9/11 and on other occasions. They're fighting the barbarians that killed our soldiers and wounded our soldiers. They're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. Can you help them? Can you help them? In little ways, bigger ways if possible. You can give a gift that is tax deductible. You give a monthly gift, say $45. That's tax deductible every month to help these people in these devastated areas on this ongoing war. And I want to urge you to do it. Call 844-866-IFCJ, 844-866-IFCJ. Again, 844-866-IFCJ is very, very easy to do. And you know what? You're going to feel great. That's the birth of Judaism and Christianity right there. You're going to feel great that you're helping these people. And they're going to feel great knowing that you help them. It'll be a very, very important thing that you're doing. How much time do I have, Mr. Producer? All right. Enough time to, I wanted to get into something. Hold on one second, America. I don't have my printer, so I have to go back and forth. You don't care, but you understand. As a quasi-professional, this is what I do. Do we still have 2 minutes or not? Let's get started. Ron DeSantis. And now everyone's going to want to move to Florida. Cut 11, go.
And, these property taxes, it's like you buy a home, you buy land, maybe you buy the home outright, but maybe you pay off a mortgage over 30 years. And then, okay, you've paid off the mortgage, you bought the land, you've been taxed many times. It's like, is it your property or not? Just for being on your property, you got to write a check to the government every year. So you're basically paying rent to the government to live on your own property. And our homestead exemption is not strong enough to help these folks because the property gets assessed so high. And that's the thing. If you buy a home for $300,000 and there's certain tax, well, then what? 10 years later, they say it's worth $700,000. And so, and then they say, there's homestead stuff that helps protect you to a certain extent, but you're paying more. And a lot of people can't afford that. So I think that that's a big issue. And I know we're going to be really looking at ways to bring people relief from that, because I think it's been really something that's pinching a lot of homeowners, particularly seniors on fixed income. But the reality is people have seen, and this is not the state, we don't control this, we've not allowed any of that stuff to happen. We've been cutting taxes, but people have seen their property tax liability go up over these last years because the property is being assessed higher and higher. And the reality is you don't really know how much your home is worth until someone offers you money and is willing to pull the trigger on a sale. That's how a market works. You can say it's worth this much, but if no one's willing to come and offer you that much, then why should you?
So he's going to look for ways to slash spending. He's going to do his own state doge and to force the slashing of property taxes, and they don't even have an income tax. I'll be right back.
Making sense of your world.
Radio is where I get all of my information.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
LifeLock, during tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off at payroll, your accountant or a tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info in your W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get your identity stolen. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. Restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% for your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock, use promo code Bongino, or go to lifelock.com/Bongino for 40% off. Terms apply. Do it today.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Hi, I'm Joe Salciha. I hosted the Stacking Benjamin Show. You want financial independence, don't you? You want to know how all this stuff works instead of these little sound bites?
Listen to some finance people on the radio, and they're like, oh, you're stupid.
Because people fall in this trap all the time.
You don't deserve to have money.
You're buying a lot of air.
Interest sucks.
Oh, the horrors. You never knew personal finance could be this fun.
Subconsciously, I now feel rich.
Oh, geez, like, I'm out of here. Revolution over. We won.
Yeah. Deuces, everybody.
Stacking Benjamins. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
WMAL FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of.
President Emmanuel Macron after meeting with President Trump today at the White House. He tells Fox's Brett Baer.
President Trump is a game changer. And I think he has the deterrence capacity of the U.S. to re-engage with Russia.
And Macron says he's spoken with European leaders, and many of them are ready to provide security guarantees. At the White House this afternoon, the president said,
this is the right time. It may be the only time. You know, that's a very interesting and horrible situation. And that could evolve into a third world war. We're not going to let that happen.
The ceasefire appeals deal between Russia and Ukraine could include the deployment of European peacekeepers, which President Trump claimed Russia would accept. The Russian president, Vladimir Putin, said on state TV he has not talked in detail about ending the war in Ukraine with President Trump. A federal judge appointed by President Trump has denied a request from the Associated Press to immediately restore their old White House access.
D.C. federal judge Trevor McFadden said in his decision to deny a temporary restraining order that the AP wasn't facing a total denial of White House access. They could still go to press events. But he said as this moves forward, case law would probably be, quote, uniformly unhelpful to the White House. The judge also said while he thought an administration could block the White House Correspondents Association altogether, he also said the situation here did seem like viewpoint discrimination against the AP. The AP is arguing that the Trump administration's violating the First Amendment by denying them access to the Oval Office, Air Force One, and other areas because the AP won't call the newly renamed Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. 2020 Republican presidential hopeful Vivek Ramaswamy has announced he's running for governor of Ohio. America is listening to Fox News. It is
Divine intervention on behalf of Pope Francis. I'm Sharon Reardon from the Novak Motors News Desk. Good evening. Prayers are being offered around the world for Pope Francis as he deals with double pneumonia, including here in Washington.
He was here almost 10 years ago, and we will always remember that day and hold that day, very much in our hearts.
Monsignor Ronald Jameson with the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle in Northwest, speaking of the Pope's last visit to D.C. Now with Francis in ill health, Jameson tells 7 News thoughts turn to the future.
When the time does come, we want to pray that he will rest in peace
Then, of course, secondly, be praying for his successor.
Washington's new Archbishop, Cardinal Robert McElroy, will be among those traveling to Rome to choose a successor when the time comes. John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Governor Glenn Youngkin launching a website to help federal workers who are losing their jobs to get one of the 250,000 open jobs in the state. He says VirginiaHasJobs.com has resources that
not only connect you to those jobs, resources that help you find training, resources that help you find support.
Through Virginia Works, the state's workforce development agency. And Congressman Suha Subramanian from Virginia proposes 2 bills today that he says are aimed at bringing transparency and accountability to what he calls DOJ's recent illegal and unconstitutional actions. One would require a report on the effects of DOJ's actions on the long-term financial public health and the safety interests of the U.S. The other, he says, would require DOJ to submit a public report to Congress listing all its employees and advisors. Musk has said DOJ is transparent and even has a website featuring its work. WMAL News Time is 8:04. I'm Sharon Reardon, and now here's your WMAL traffic and weather from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
In D.C., the 3rd Street Tunnel northbound tube is stop and go from Massachusetts Avenue to New York Avenue. In Prince George's County, BW Parkway northbound at Greenbelt, stop and go from Nassau Goddard to 197. Now into Arlington, westbound 66 is slow from Fairfax Drive to Washington Boulevard. In a loop of the Beltway McLean, disabled tractor trailer has been cleared right at the Georgetown Pike exit, but the traffic is still slow from Leesburg Pike. And southbound 95 in Norton is stop and go between Route 1 and the Prince William Parkway. And now from GarageDoorRepair.com to WMAL Storm 7 forecast.
Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 38. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high near 62.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at NissanUSA.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Working hard is worth it if you're seeing results. And when it comes to working out, the same thing is true. You want the maximum benefit in the time you have, and that's exactly what Tonal is built for. And with their latest iteration, Tonal 2, you can ensure your workout is more tailored and effective than ever. Tonal's at-home strength training system uses adaptive weight to learn from your movement and set the optimal weight for every move, adjusting in 1-pound increments up to 250 pounds, challenging even the most advanced users to push their limits. You can also experience a full-body burn with the new Arrowhit workouts, the perfect blend of heart-pumping cardio and strength. Plus, the new built-in Smart View leverages a high-resolution camera that lets you see yourself during your workout, analyzes your movement, and provides real-time coaching, just like a personal trainer. Right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code Tonal200. That's Tonal.com and use promo code Tonal200 for $200 off your purchase. That's Tonal.com, promo code Tonal200 for $200 off.
LifeLock, during tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off at payroll, your accountant or a tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info in your W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get your identity stolen. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, backed by the $1 million protection package. Restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% for your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock, use promo code Bongino, or go to LifeLock.com/Bongino for 40% off. Terms apply. Do it today.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin.
Hello, I'm Mark Levin here. Our number 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. I want to get back to America's governor, Ron DeSantis. I'm a huge fan of Ron DeSantis. He runs that state like nobody's ever run a state. That's why so many people have moved to Florida. I'm not kidding. It's a fantastic state. You barely even know the government's there. Now, some of the counties are out of control with their property taxes, and that's his point. And many of them are run by Republicans, by the way. The county I'm in, the Republicans can't stop raising taxes. But again, I want you to hear what Ron DeSantis had to say, and then I want to make a point. Here he is at his press conference today. We're looking at ways to limit or end property taxes in Florida, which already does not have an income tax. Cut 11, go.
And, these property taxes, it's like you buy a home, you buy land, maybe you buy the home outright, but maybe you pay off a mortgage over 30 years. And then, okay, you've paid off the mortgage, you bought the land, you've been taxed many times. It's like, is it your property or not? Just for being on your property, you got to write a check to the government every year. So you're basically paying rent to the government to live on your own property. And our homestead.
Now stop right there. That is actually a brilliant point. I never thought about that. You think you own your home, but if you don't pay your property taxes, they're going to take your home. That is a great point. So you're paying rent, not to a landlord, but to the government. Or if you will, the government is your landlord. Even if you don't have a mortgage at some point, you still have to pay that rent to the government, to the county or the city, or you lose your home. And in some places, property taxes are through the roof and people are having trouble paying them. Go ahead.
To help these folks because the property gets assessed so high. And that's the thing. If you buy a home for $300,000 and there's certain tax, well, then what? 10 years later, they say it's worth $700,000. And so, and then they say, there's homestead stuff that helps protect you to a certain extent, but you're paying more. And a lot of people can't afford that. So I think that that's a big issue. And I know we're going to be really looking at ways to bring people relief from that, because I think it's been really something that's pinching a lot of homeowners, particularly seniors on fixed income. But the reality is people have seen, and this is not the state, we don't control this. We've not allowed any of that stuff to happen. We've been cutting taxes, but people have seen their property tax liability go up over these last years because the property is being assessed higher and higher. And the reality is you don't really know how much your home is worth until someone offers you money and is willing to pull the trigger on a sale. That's how a market works. You can say it's worth this much, but if no one's willing to come and offer you that much, then why should you pay taxes on that amount? And so there's a lot of things that need to be done with that. But as part of our DOGE initiative, our state task force will look into local government expenditures.
All right, and it goes on. Now, I want to say something. I tell you these things because we're a family, one big family. That's what we are. We were home in Loudoun County, Virginia, and a home in Florida. I'm a resident of Florida. Now, here's what a state does, or a county, I should say. Let me correct myself. A county does that's desperate for money and can't stop spending, which is Loudoun County, Virginia, which is now run by the left-wing Democrats. When I first moved here, maybe there were 150,000, 170,000 people. It was controlled by the Republicans. Now it's 2.5 times that amount and growing, and a strong Democrat political government. And so they give the ship away. They give everything away. The public sector unions, and they don't, it's almost like their own underground government that they have. All right. I just got the assessment on my house. It's up almost 30%, Mr. Producer. 30%. Where the hell did that come from? 30%? They put a value on our home that I could never sell this home for. And they say, but you can appeal. How do I appeal? I mean, I'm not talking about the mechanics of appealing. How do I appeal since we're really talking about nothing? As Governor DeSantis points out, what am I supposed to say? That I couldn't sell my house for this amount if I wanted to. Well, that's your opinion. We have an assessor and he looked in and he said this, that, and the other. This is how it works. It's stunning, the number they put on this house. Stunning. Now, what's also interesting is These are based on decisions they made a few months back. Okay, since Doge, Trump, Musk, and so forth, the housing market in and around Washington, D.C., including Northern Virginia, is down, way down, because people are looking to sell their homes. They're not looking to buy new homes. And by new homes, I mean any home, new homes for themselves, in effect. So you know that assessment's not right. And it's not just me. There's people all around me, same thing. Looking at each other, what the hell is this? Now, a few years back, when I first bought this house, there was no house here. They were building a development. This is about 25 years ago. There was literally nothing here. There wasn't even a grocery store down the street. There wasn't a 7-Eleven. There wasn't a gas station. I said, I want to get away from it all. We want to get away from it all. And we came out here, which was considered at the time fairly rural. So I buy this lot for a pretty good price on a golf course that I never play golf on. Why? I didn't care about the golf course. I liked the view. There's a view of the river. I like water. I like to look at water. And I like to look what's in the water, because God knows, the snakes know. But I like to look at the water. It gives me peace of mind. I like to look at the ocean. It gives me peace of mind. It clears out my mind. So that's what I did. A few years back, they kind of decided that they were going to have, Mr. Producer, ready for this? A river district. He said, what the hell's a river district? Any home that's basically within a certain number of yards from a river. Another scheme to jack up your property taxes. Now, there's people who don't want to live near a river. They're worried about floods or snakes or whatever the hell it is. I happen to like it. Not floods and snakes, but the river. So they create this whole phony fiction. They jack up the prices. But this thing comes in last week. I'm looking at it. What the hell is this? It's crazy. Crazy. Now, the other place, again, there was a shack on this lot. The market was down. This is how many years ago is this? About 15 years ago, give or take. It's a lot of money. So I bought this property, knocked down the shack, waited 3 years so we could accumulate some more money, and they built a house on it. There wasn't a ton of wealth around there. As a matter of fact, the wealth was south of us, where a lot of the golfers live and so forth and so on. So what happens? Everybody wants to move to Florida. I can't blame them. Look at this governor. He's unbelievable. You know, say what you will. This man is unbelievable. The way he manages Florida, he's unbelievable. I just wish every state could have a governor like DeSantis. I really do. His instincts are unbelievable. Did I say unbelievable? Okay. I mean, look at, he's looking at property taxes now. They don't even have an income tax. Who does that? Nobody. So what happens? Well, he's right. The state has nothing to do with it. These counties keep raising taxes, whether there's rhinos on these various boards or Democrats on these various boards. They just keep raising taxes. So how do they do that? Well, what's happened in my community is you have literally people worth hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars who've decided they want to live in our neighborhood. No, we never had people like this in the neighborhood. At least not my side of the tracks. So they buy 1, 2 houses, knock them down. They build these massive estates. Another one, they knock it down on the ocean, and they do this and they do that. So what does the county and the town do, Mr. Producer? They massively jack up the value of the homes. People say, aren't you happy? Look at the value. No, I'm not happy. I want to live there, and I want to live there for a long time. The taxes are nuts. And so the valuation they put on those of us who've been there 10, 15 years is crazy. Crazy. because it's based on the most recent home built by very, very wealthy people, and then they project from that. My property taxes, since I've lived on this property, since I built it, let me think out loud here. By the time we were done building the house and the property, I would say that was about 8 or 9 years ago, I've almost tripled. Almost tripled. And for what? Nothing's changed. Because they're money hungry. They're power hungry. And so they confuse it. Well, the millage went down, which is rare. But the valuation on your house has skyrocketed. Has skyrocketed. And so these counties make it impossible for people of modest means to live in these communities. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about people who may want to move into the community. They make it utterly impossible. And they're stealing you. They're stealing from you, not blind. They've created an appellate system, appeal system, where you can't win. Well, our assessor says this. Well, my assessor says that. So maybe they'll trim a little bit off of it, but they're not going to trim much. And by the way, I haven't done it, but you would have to hire a local lawyer. You got to do the whole thing. And they know that people can't resist this. They can't fight this. You're up against the government, and they're using your money against you. So here's... But do you own your home when you have to keep paying rent to the government? And the government just decides what your rent's going to be? There's no real negotiation. There's something terribly wrong with this process. Something terribly wrong with this process. And they hold a gun to your head. You either pay that tax one way or another, or you lose your home, you lose your entire investment. You lose your biggest investment, and you have nowhere to stay. That's the mob. And they just keep raising taxes, whether it's the millage, whether it's the value of the property, whatever they pull it out of, it doesn't matter. And then I watch people getting salary increases. Salary increases. School board just negotiated a new contract with all these massive salary increases. Okay, my property taxes are going up. The county just negotiated a deal with the employees and the salary. Okay, now my taxes are going up. We just got all these brand new buses, these electric buses. Okay, now my taxes are going up. And up and up and up. There's no counter pressure. When they meet in these back rooms, when the bureaucrats in the administrations that work for these various elected bodies, when they talk, when they meet, they're not talking about us. They're talking about what they want. What they want. And when they're not responsible for paying for it, we are, they get what they want, or we lose our homes. So DeSantis is really onto something. This is a big, big deal. Now, you may not be able to get rid of property taxes altogether, but something does need to be done about this state by state. Something really does, because these counties are completely out of control. I don't care if Republicans run them. I don't care if Democrats run them. They're out of control. I'll be right back.
What? News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
LifeLock, during tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off at payroll, your accountant or a tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info in your W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get your identity stolen. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, backed by the $1 million protection package. Restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% for your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock, use promo code Bongino, or go to LifeLock.com/Bongino for 40% off. Terms apply. Do it today.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know, all without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected. Clarity and context for a complex world.
Be far more thorough and specific than ever before.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Imagine the hospital experience. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine you're a child. This is why Starlight exists. Starlight programs help kids in the hospital cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook, because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Expert entrepreneur Ed Milet is on a mission to max out your life.
I exist here weekly so that you can make your dreams come true, become the man or woman you're capable of, and then pay it forward.
It's time to get laser focused on peak performance.
Clarity equals focus, and focus equals success. That's what I'm here to do every week with you. Max out.
The Ed Milet Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform. WMAL.
Are you looking for a voice that truly represents your values? AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, was created to champion the needs of Americans who believe in faith, family, and freedom. Members gain access to incredible member benefits and discounts, including the award-winning AMAC magazine, from exclusive discounts on travel, insurance, everyday services, to a strong voice in Washington. The Association of Mature American Citizens is here to make a difference in your life and in our nation. Anybody at any age can join. In honor of President Trump's first 100 days in office, AMAC is offering an incredible deal. Incredible. Enroll in a 5-year AMAC membership for 47% off. Normally it's $60. Join today. It's $32. Visit amac.us/LEVIN. That's amac.us/Levin. Join today. Take advantage of this special offer. That's amac.us/Levin. Join AMAC and become part of a movement that stands for you, your family, and your future.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you for your clear insight.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
This is a major wake-up call.
Making sense of the news.
Missed anything? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Get today's breaking news on the Vince Colonnade Show, weekdays 3 to 6, right here on WMAL.
Too bad there aren't at least not many telephone booths anymore in Washington, D.C., because that's where this group the other day could have met. The Associated Press, the few Republicans who still oppose Trump gather in search of a path to oppose them. Oppose him how? He just won his second term. The Associated Press, conservatives from across the country filled a ballroom, more like filled a telephone booth, a few blocks from the White House, and lamented the United States is abandoning the ideals that forged a great nation. No, we're not. We're trying to breathe life back into our republic. Some attendees donned red hats with various inscriptions mocking President Trump. You know what it sounds like to me, Mr. Producer? The Nerd Convention. But what do I know? It was the largest gathering to date of the Principles First Summit, expanded upon Trump's second term to welcome independents and center-left Democrats under a shared pro-democracy, anti-authoritarian aim. It's not a time to bend the knee, to play along, said Heath Mayo, whoever that is, the Yale-educated attorney who founded Principles First 5 years ago for self-identified politically homeless conservatives. This is a time for stiffening your spines, getting ready for a long fight. What a bunch of wrong ways here. It's just incredible. Yet 3 days of conversations and recriminations still left the 1,200 attendees. I get that many people at a book signing. Did you know that, Mr. Reducer? Without a clear roadmap to loosen Trump's grip on the conservative movement and America's national identity, there was not even consensus on whether to fight within Republican spheres at all, migrate to the Democrat Party, or find a different path altogether. Boy, that was a waste of money, whoever paid to get into this thing. Makes you feel better to know that you're not alone and that you're not crazy. How do you know you're not crazy? The question is how to translate the action into a political system that's very difficult to influence because it's structured in the way that two parties have complete control. So the system's the problem, not them. Mark Cuban, the entrepreneur, Shark Tank, all the rest of it, got a rousing ovation when he took the stage, but vowed that he would not run for the White House. He dismissed the Democratic Party profanely as unable to sell its own message. I'm not here to throw him under the bus, Cuban said of Trump, praising the Republican president's ability as a marketeer who convinced voters he could help them. Democrats, Cuban said, make their critiques of Trump mute because they can't sell worth blank. So for Cuban, it's about selling. Why? Because he sold out a long time ago. That's why. Didn't he back Harris? Oh, I think he did. Wow. Oh, yeah. Yes. This affected Republicans, my ass. I'll be right back.
LifeLock. During tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off at payroll, your accountant or a tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info in your W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get your identity stolen. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, backed by the $1 million protection package. Restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% for your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock, use promo code Bongino, or go to LifeLock.com/Bongino for 40% off. Terms apply. Do it today.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
No Contest Wrestling, where O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson bring their hot takes with the biggest names in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Braun Breaker. Welcome to the Braun. My aspirations in life, I always wanted to be a WWE superstar. The Prodigy, Roxanne Perez. I got to talk about the Hubbard cosplay. LA Knight.
What am I doing here? I can retire. See everybody.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Garland Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wreck. How will you stop texting and driving?
This is just too much.
StopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway.
Hey, you goofy fucker. Call the governor PD. Tell him how racist Billy is. Ain't many people here. Everybody's busy. So I'm gonna shut this down because I gotta leave at 8 o'clock tomorrow to go somewhere. So I'm going to bed early. I don't know if I'll be able to. I'll probably die laughing tonight. I gotta go. Okay.